Welcome to WorldatWork TV. I'm Marcia Rhodes. Today we're discussing Six Sigma in HR, and joining me is Michaela Leo, a global compensation leader. Michaela, Six Sigma has its roots in manufacturing, where the goal was to reduce defects in widgets. Why do you think it applies to HR and specifically compensation?
Defects are defined in Six Sigma as any output that's a product or a service that doesn't meet the customer's requirements. HR is a service providing organization, and as such we need to be able to support the business with our products, services, and processes. And by ensuring that using the Six Sigma methodology, we design these products and services to meet their requirements and their specifications, we can strategically empower them and enable them and not be a hindrance. We want our processes to make sure we support these strategic business initiatives and not have our business partners and our managers distracted by the processes so that they can focus on really driving the business bottom line.
Can you give us an example of a Six Sigma tool and how a reward practitioner can use it?
A process map is a very easy to use tool and has a lot of benefits to a rewards practitioner. Whether you're designing a new process or seeking to improve an existing process, you can use that tool to chart out the process from start to finish. This allows you to see how your materials or your information would flow from start to finish and how much time it takes to move through the process. This will allow you to see if you have any significant defects in that process, for example, unnecessary bureaucracy, where you need multiple sign-offs where they might not really be required. Or you have over-analysis. Somebody is researching data or creating data that might already have been analyzed elsewhere that you can use. So this really helps you see quick wins. So this is where you have an opportunity to improve the process without making a major investment.
I've also heard Six Sigma described as a problem-solving tool. Can you give us an example of one problem and how Six Sigma was used to resolve it?
A few years ago, we installed a new HR information system, an enormous benefit to our business as well as to the HR professionals and managers and employees. One of the drawbacks we noticed once we installed that system was that something as simple as creating a new job code would take anywhere from 5 to 30 days. That was not acceptable to our managers or our employees who really needed this turned around very quickly and were accustomed to having this done in a day. And so we use Six Sigma methodology to understand the process, to start to create solutions and prioritize solutions, and we're able to take that process time down to 2 days.
From 30 days down to 2 days. Now that's impressive.
Thank you, and our managers really love that too.
What advice do you have for an HR professional who has a problem and wants to use Six Sigma to help solve it? Should that person go out and get their own training or simply borrow a black belt from another department to help solve the problem?
Very often we don't have the luxury of time to be trained before we can start working on a problem. Our stakeholders have a problem and they want a resolution right away. My advice is to borrow a black belt from another department to have them work through and manage the process. That way they can really focus on the project and the management of that project. And the HR professional, by working with this seasoned black belt, would learn to use the tools in a practical situation, in a practical application of those tools. One of the good things about Sigma is that you really need to have a project before you can start to certify or be trained. While you're working on the project with this black belt, you could work towards your certification and be able to learn how to use the tools and please your stakeholders at the same time, because you would be resolving that problem very quickly.
So while the black belt is helping HR resolve the problem, HR is helping the black belt get their training and certification, but so is HR.
Correct. HR is being trained at the same time and can work towards certification at the same time.
I think that's a really efficient use of everyone's time.
Exactly.
Michaela Leo, thank you so much for joining us. For WorldatWork TV, I'm Marcia Rhodes.